We got the Hockey Hall of Famer here, Clark Gillies. I can't imagine anybody wouldn't know, but man, look at only 958 NHL games, 4 Stanley Cups with the New York Islanders, a Memorial Cup with the Regina Pats, and the man for which our producer Clark Monroe was named, Clark Gillies, joining us from Long Island today. Look at him looking like $1 million. Happy New Year, Clarky.
Thanks, Rod. Nice to be with you guys. Got some exciting things going down here in the United States. I hope it's a little quieter up in Canada.
Look, we resolved to not talk politics today, Clark, or any day for that matters. Are you safe, by the way? Are you good where you are, the whole crew there?
Yeah, we're quite a ways from Washington, D.C., so yeah, we're fine. It's but yeah, no, it's been an interesting 24 hours. There's no question about that. But yeah, we're good. Everybody's trying to stay safe and sound. We got a lot of COVID going on around here, so we're pretty careful where we go on a daily basis. But so far, so good.
I bet that you are. Hey, I got so many things to get to. When I saw your message come into the show about coming on, I was so excited. Clark, we had an informal poll a couple months ago about who's the toughest guy to come out of Saskatchewan in the NHL. And the fans had their say. But when I put it to the actual fighters, like Tiger, Kosers, they said Clark Gillies. And I mean, wow. You're not gonna argue that, but how does that feel?
Listen, it was part of my makeup. Just to have a lot of fun duking it out in junior and carried it on a little bit to the NHL. It was a part of the game. I wouldn't say it was the most fun part of it for me, but I certainly didn't mind once I got into it. But yeah, I'd say it's was I the toughest? There's a lot of tough guys. I mean, you got a bunch of guys like Joey Kosher and Wendell Clark, and oh my God, you can go down the line. But nice to be part of that group. Did what I had to do, Rod. That's all it really comes down to.
Well, I know that, but my point is, over your shoulder, it's not a photo of you knocking out Dave Schultz. It's a photo of you guys celebrating with a Stanley Cup. My point is, you probably are the toughest guy ever, but you don't celebrate that like some guys, right? That's not really what your hallmark is. Yeah.
No, I always tell everybody my main concern when I got to the rink was scoring 3 goals, which only happened a couple of times, but where scoring a goal was important to me. The fighting was always secondary. And whenever I did fight, it was usually to protect a teammate or possibly get things stirred up once in a while, but mostly protecting my teammates. And that's kind of the way I went about it in junior too, playing with Mike Wanchuk and Dennis Sobchuk. Kind of took it upon myself to protect those 2 guys a little bit, and then it carried on with Bossy and Trache with the Islanders. So, but we had a lot of good fighters. We had a lot of good leaders on our team with the Islanders, especially that could take care of that stuff. So I didn't have to do as much as maybe people thought I would. I think I only had in 14 years I played. I think I had 55 fights, which is not a lot compared to some of these guys.
Yeah, but probably 55-0. And I won't get into that. You'll love this, though. I was playing outdoor hockey the other day, and I didn't even find out till after somebody texted me and said that guy that was skating at the other end of the ice was Mike Harasny. But he was all bundled up.
Oh, really?
I didn't even recognize him, from your Pat's Memorial Cup days. Listen, you've brought up Junior a couple times, so let me ask you this. You and I have discussed many times how proud you were to win a Memorial Cup and the bragging rights that come with it. What about USA winning the World Junior Gold over Canada? Would a guy like you take some ribbing in America in the last couple of days?
You know what? I had a couple of bets. One with a buddy of mine up in Toronto, and he obviously wanted the Canadian team, and I said, you know what? I'll take the U.S. team. I had a couple of bets in the office that Canada would win, so I have gotten a little ribbing from the guys here. But I watched good amount of the game. It was on late here, so I watched most of the first period. I think I dozed off in the second and woke up for a whirlwind of a finish with about 12 minutes left, and you knew it was going to be a pretty good hockey game when you got the two best goaltenders in the World Cup or the World Juniors, and two of the highest scoring teams. So it was either going to be a toss up of what it turned out to be, a very low scoring game. They competed tremendously. I couldn't believe the energy level that both teams put forward in that game, and it was entertaining to watch the parts that I was up for.
Really, all we can ask is entertainment. It was fast. It looked like an NHL game. Both those goalies, by the way, belong to the Florida Panthers. And I remember when I broadcasted the World Juniors, I was like, 2 minutes in, I'm like, whoa, I better pick it up here. This isn't your normal junior game. Zing, zing, zing. No. It's very skilled. Clark, just before we get to the Islanders and an outlook for this year, I don't know how your American New York TV stations have filled time in the pandemic. In Canada, they've been re-airing classic Stanley Cup games for like 9 months. And there's been a lot of Oilers-Islanders games. And man, I watched them live. But to go back and look at it again, you want to talk about a war? It was a war, Clark. It was take no prisoners, man.
Those were pretty intense. They reminded me a little bit of some of the early games I used to play against the Montreal Canadiens, especially back in the late 70s when they won the 4 cups in a row. Every time you played the Canadiens, it was going to be a high-level, start to finish type game. And that's the way it was with the Oilers. I think they had a lot of respect for us. We had a lot of respect for them. Wasn't a lot of crazy. There was a couple of things that broke out over the course of time, but it wasn't a lot of crazy hockey. It was just, with regards to fighting and things like that, it was just good, clean, hard-nosed, go at each other, and may the best team win. So it was always fun to play the Oilers, certainly with Wayne and Mess and Koff, and those guys were great hockey players, and the two great teams going at each other. It was exciting.
Oh, so much fun to watch. Craig Campbell is watching, Executive Director of the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, Clark. He's watching right now. He says, Happy New Year to Clark. He kindly donated his Memorial Cup ring and 1980 Stanley Cup blue sweater as well as other items to the Hockey Hall of Fame. A big thank you once again. What did you think on that?
Sorry, that was a great event and certainly a great honor. So, the idea is to donate a couple of things. One quick funny story, I donated the my last skates that I wore. And when I came to play in the Hall of Fame game, I had a brand new pair of skates on and I could barely skate in those new skates. So that was one night I wish I had my old skates back. But it was a great experience, and I was glad to donate that stuff to the Hall.
One more from the old days. The one game I was watching in the Stanley Cup final, you were wearing a lid, an SK2000. And it's hard to find a photo of Clark Gillies wearing a helmet. And I didn't think you wore it with your Long Island days, Clark. Yeah, what led to you putting a helmet on finally?
I don't exactly remember when I was playing for the Islanders. I fooled around with a couple of different helmets, with a Jaffa helmet at practice, and then a CCM helmet, I think it was, at practice. And I finally decided to wear it a little bit. I did wear a helmet. My last year I played in Buffalo, I wore a helmet. And the reason being is that there were a lot of big young kids out there that want a piece of Clark Gillies. And I said, you know what, if you're going to be hitting me in the head, you're going to be hitting me with a helmet on. Because I'd gotten in a few with a couple of these young guys, and I had some welts on my head. And I said, you know what? I don't need this, so I'm going to wear a helmet. But that was the only reason I wore it the last year I played. And I guess it was in self-defense, because I figured if you're going to hit me in the head, you're going to cut your knuckles just like I'm cutting mine. So it was, as I said, self-defense, and I think it helped a little bit.
Glenn Erickson's watching. He's in Red Deer, right, Darren? He says, I remember great times in West Kelowna when Clark Gillies was part of the group of Bob Bourne's fantasy camps. Always enjoyed Clark and the guys visiting with us at the Shannon Lake Golf Club. You remember that?
I absolutely do. We used to have a blast out at Bourne's fantasy camp. Remember playing golf at Shannon Lake. Those guys were great hosts there, and we had a very good turnout. We had a lot of good guys there. Right? That was one of my fondest memories were two guys that aren't with us anymore, rooming with Dave Semenko and Dale Howardchuk. Two great guys, a lot of laughs. Bobby Bourne put on a great show, and unfortunately, we're not doing that anymore out in Kelowna, but we did have a wonderful time.
Colin in Ottawa watching says, ask Clark what it was like to play for legendary NHL coach and great Sudburyan Al Arbour.
Oh, I don't think it gets any better than playing for a guy like Al. He was not only a great coach, he was a real father figure to me and a lot of the other guys on the team. Al. I think one of the great things about Al is Al was a player before he was a coach, so he kind of understood the goings on of us, of what we were doing on the ice and off the ice, which he kept pretty close tabs on us. But he could be a lot of fun. He could be nasty. But bottom line is he was a heck of a coach and a heck of a human being. And I miss him tremendously even to this day.
Wow. I should mention, by the way, it came up in my Facebook friends' birthdays. Your brother-in-law, Bobby Trumbley's celebrating a birthday today. So just in case you forgot, you might want to send him a message, Clark.
Happy birthday, Bob.
He watches every day, so the great Bobby Trumbley. And just with the Islanders, we had Eberle on a couple weeks ago. He could not stop smiling about what you guys got going on in Long Island. It's pretty exciting, Clark.
I'll tell you, Rod, the new building, the UBS Arena, is beyond state of the art. The ownership has taken great strides to put the best things in this building that they found in every, not only hockey arena, but every sporting arena, not only around this country, but around the world. It is going to have a little bit of everything. State of the art to the point where I think they actually said you'll be able to pour your own beer. I don't know how they're going to keep track of that, but it's going to make it very convenient to get food, get beer. The sight lines on this new arena are tremendous. I've been to the new building a few times and been able to see firsthand what it's going to look like. Going to be something special. I can't wait till it gets open in October.
Okay, so please explain to me, because I've seen photos of it. Is this a renovated Nassau County Coliseum, or is it an entirely new place? What you guys got going on down there?
Well, they renovated the old Nassau Coliseum. They just put a new face on the outside, redid the new seats, and a couple of changes on the inside. But the UBS Arena is a brand new building. It's going to be built right next to Belmont Raceway. There's going to be a hotel next to it. There's three phases. The arena, I believe, is phase one. I think the hotel might be phase two, or there's going to be a retail shopping mall across the street, then the hotel. But it's a very big project, all part of the Belmont Raceway complex over there. The actual facade of the building looks kind of like the facade of the racetrack. So it's really neat the way they put it all together. Going to hold 17,000 people for hockey, 18,000 for concerts. I'm going to have the same feel as the old Coliseum. About 16,000 of the 17,000 seats are going to be in a lower bowl. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be enthusiastic. And I'll just give you an idea. The Islanders' dressing room in this new building is going to be 23,000 square feet. I think our dressing room at the Coliseum was 1,000 square feet. So it's going to be tremendous. And for those of you that can't relate to that, the ice surface is 20,000 square feet. So you can imagine you can fit a lot of stuff onto a sheet of ice, and that's how big their locker room is. It's going to be tremendous. High-end food places. Open air. One end of the rink is going to be an open air restaurant with food courts. You can stand, watch the game if you want. It's going to have a little bit of everything.
Here's the Canadian coming out in me. Who's paying for this?
Actually, it's a good question, and it's one that gets asked a lot because taxpayers on Long Island, they don't like to give up their money very, very easily. This building is being privately built by the Islander ownership, headed by Scott Melkin and John Ledecky, and they are paying for half of it. And there's another group but the OVG group is paying for the other half. So it's all privately funded. OVG builds a lot of arenas around the country. They actually built the new arena out in Seattle. They're building the UBS Arena here and have other projects around the country. So they partnered with the Islander ownership. There'll be no public money at all in this building. So taxpayers are getting it for nothing. Fans are getting it for nothing. And they're going to be very, very impressed when they walk into this building for the first time.
That's amazing. I got a lot of people to see next trip to New York when we can, and a lot of things to do now. So
you listen. You call me, and we'll. I have a lot of friends that have suites at the building, so we'll be treated in the fashion we're accustomed to.
That we deserve, Clark. Exactly. Yes. We're almost out of time, but we got two. Well, a couple of guys want to know who's the toughest guy you ever fought, and another wants to know what was your favorite road rink. Can you answer those before we let you go?
Yes, toughest guy, probably have to give credit to Terry O'Reilly. I had a lot of great battles with Terry. He was kind of a light heavyweight. I was a heavyweight, and he never turned down an invitation. And by the way, he started most of them. I'm not sure he finished them all, but he started most of them. And the favorite rink to play in, I really have to go back to my early days of my career, and the Montreal Forum was a very, very special place. The old Forum. First time I played there, we were on the ice at 10:30 pregame skate. I went and watched the Montreal Canadiens practice, and I almost threw up, wondering how I was going to keep up with Guy Lafleur and Yvon Cornway. But it was a fun experience, and hooking and holding was sort of legal back then. I want to add something too, Rod, before you go, and I want to thank you for having me. But I noticed you don't have a Clark Gillies bobblehead on the desk there, so there'll be one in the mail this afternoon or tomorrow morning, just so you can expect it in the next little while.
I love it. And
it does have a helmet on it, by the way.
I was going to say what does it look like you now, the earlier Clark, or does it look like something entirely different altogether?
You probably won't recognize it. It's something in the middle, but
exactly.
It is of me, and I put my signature on just to prove it, so you'll have it shortly.
Oh, we're deeply honored for that, Clark. This has been a wonderful catch-up, sir. Thank you so much. All the best in 2021, and here's hoping we see you sooner than later.
Well, I'm going to get home as soon as I can, Rod. As soon as the borders open up, I'll be there.
Good stuff. Thank you, Clark. Clark Gillies checking in from Long Island, one of the absolute all-time beauties.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.